See, this is a year-ender political debate that we are having. So, across all networks, Twitter platforms, you see a discussion around Rahul Gandhi going on a vacation. The crime that he has committed to go on a vacation. Politically, whether this is a relevant thing to do at a time when your party is celebrating the 136th Foundation Day, well, the jury is out on that one. But the larger question, which we are going to debate on NDTV, what's the UPA's survival plan in 2021? Will there be a Gandhi at the helm, or there will be no Gandhi? Or will there be a third force? Maybe a Mr. Sharad Pawar. He's denied that he's coming to the center, playing a larger role in the UPA. By the way, he's touching 80. He is 80. So what really is the plan, the survival plan of the UPA, the United Progressive Alliance? Or just like the NDA, is the UPA 2 something which soon will not exist? Let's quickly put this to a discussion. Mr. N. Ram and Lalitha Kumaramangalam continue to stay with us. In just a short moment, we'll have Mr. Mahesh Tapse, he's the NCP spokesperson, and Amiben Yagnik, Rajya Sabha MP of the Congress party. But before I come to them for a discussion, here are some reactions to this story that we got through the day.
To seeing a grandmother is a wrong thing. Every person has the right to have a personal visit or personal matters. Rahul Gandhi, of course, he already requested Congress President, he need to go to Italy for seeing his grandmother. When the Congress President has given permission to that. What BJP is doing, you can understand. Only target Rahul Gandhi. They are doing low-level politics.
किसानों को कह देते हैं कि वीर तुम बढ़े चलो और आप विदेश बढ़ जाते हैं. फिर आप कह देते हैं राष्ट्रपति भवन जाते हैं, जो सिग्नेचर देकर आते हैं, उस सिग्नेचर के प्रामाणिकता पर देश में सवाल उठ जाता है और आप विदेश चले जाते हैं. अगर राजनीति जो है वो समाज सेवा है. विपक्ष के जो नेता होते हैं उनकी हर बात को जिम्मेदारी से देश भी लेता है, लेकिन अगर आप अपनी बात को ही जिम्मेदारी से नहीं लेंगे तो आपको मुबारक हो.
Kumaramangalam, you heard Mr. Shahnawaz Hussain. Of course, the BJP will love a political opportunity like this. I mean, this is like a gift that has landed, for the BJP. But Ms. Kumaramangalam, the larger point. Okay, I'm going to go back to Ms. Kumaramangalam in just a short moment. But Mr. Ram, how do you view this? The Congress party's dilemma, their fix, that on one hand, you've got a party which can't think beyond the Gandhis, and then on the other hand, you've got a Gandhi who says, I don't want this opportunity, or I do not want this, this title. Where does this leave the opposition or the UPA?
I think I would respect Rahul Gandhi's genuine feelings on this. He has not put himself forward in any way. Remember, Sanket, after 2009, after the Congress, after the UPA's victory, Dr. Manmohan Singh, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, invited Rahul Gandhi to join the cabinet, and no. So I think it's not his fault, but the party is confused, demoralized, and in many states, it's not a player, not a serious player. And that's going to be its problem. It's got to figure this out. I wouldn't put the blame on Rahul Gandhi or his vacationing or he's a part-time politician and all that. That really is, vulgarizing what's happening today. You rightly said earlier that you're not going to discuss the vacation and so on.
No, we won't.
But the leadership issue is a problem. It's not, you can't place the responsibility or blame at the door of just the Gandhis, whether it is Sonia Gandhi, who was quite reluctant to come in, or Rahul. But they shouldn't let the party stay in this state of confusion for too long. That's not going to be good. And meanwhile, there has been a clear decline in many states, especially above all in Hindi-speaking states. Also in West Bengal, for example, where both the Congress and the left have declined in a dramatic way in recent years. So I think they've got to figure this out, and treating any critical questions as disloyalty and all that, I think won't fly today.
Two parts to my next question, Mr. Ram. Number one, if we talk about UPA, should Congress be at the center of what we conceive as the UPA? And secondly, if that is the case, then should that Congress be headed by a Gandhi? Now, it's very clear, you know, people have written reams about the Congress only succeeding if the Gandhis step aside. You've got a very famous Ramchand Guha write-up also on it. But the point is, can you imagine this Congress minus a Gandhi?
Not in the immediate future. I think there'll be a tremendous pressure on somebody, if not Rahul, then Priyanka. I'm just speculating. But that's the state of the party. It's been brought up like this. It's been raised like this for the last several decades.
Yeah.
And the answer is, yes, it has to be at the center or at the head of the UPA because, you know, with all this weakening, it is still the single largest opposition party.
True.
You can say that in this state, some party has more and so on, or even numbers. But the Congress has is spread out all over the country or in most parts of the country.
Yeah.
And therefore, in the UPA, it is the natural leader. I think everybody would agree on that.
Yeah.
But party needs leadership, and I think this delay has been very costly. They should have taken it on an urgent basis.
And where does this... Where does all of this leave the UPA, the United Progressive Alliance? Amiben Yagnik is with us, and so is Mahesh Tapse, NCP spokesperson. Ms. Yagnik, you know, at the Congress headquarters today, when the 136th Foundation Day was being celebrated or observed, there were quiet murmurs, obviously, that did not catch the media attention or glare, of a lot of people saying and talking about Rahul Gandhi. In fact, there were jokes flying around. Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Milan is one of them.
Amiben
Yagnik,
so.
You know, how...
no, I understand what you are trying to ask, but the question here is that there is a sudden emergency in the family, and if Rahul Gandhi had to go
I will not come. I'm just saying what was being discussed inside the Congress office by congressmen. My debate is not on where he is.
Yes.
He's perfectly entitled to do whatever he's doing.
I haven't heard any of these. But the fact remains that every time something is there as far as the Congress Party's Foundation Day is concerned or some other program is concerned, we try to see that the whole debate concentrates on this issue, which is absolutely a non-issue in a sense because...
No, how? Ms. Yagnik, tell me, who's your leader right now?
So many. Well, we have Mrs. Sonia Gandhi.
Who's your permanent leader right now? She's interim president, Ms. Yagnik.
Interim president, but she is the president and she is very much in charge of the party. She is taking meetings. She is speaking to the people. You have seen her conferences, her meetings and her addresses on the social media. So you can't say that who is your leader. She is very much there. But right now, Rahul Gandhi is not the president. He is the former president. And if he has gone on a personal visit, why we don't go to see our grandparents?
No, absolutely. So, that is why, Ms. Yagnik, that is why I never wanted to put that to debate. That is not a debate. The debating point is what's the future of the opposition space? Do you look at yourself in a leading position in 2021 or 24?
No, Sanket, it should not be a matter of debate because we are a culture, an Indian culture, where we look after our old parents. We visit our old parents.
I'm not even asking that question.
Let us not debate on that.
Not debating. Not debate. That's exactly what I'm saying. Please. I'm asking about your political future, the future of the opposition. Do you think that the UPA is going to stay together? Who will be at the helm of the UPA? Do you think that Mr. Sharad Pawar, who's older than Sonia Gandhi, is going to be the one who will take the charge? There are a lot of murmurs in New Delhi.
Right. Let the UPA allies decide that. Today we are in a situation whether the allies in the ruling dispensation are going to deliver the promise that they promised to the people of this nation. Why are we talking about an opposition which has a combination of allies? We should talk about the governance model.
Sure.
We are having pressing issues today. Unemployment, the farmers, the safety and security of women, and especially post-pandemic, the education of the children.
Okay, Lalita Kumar Manglam wants to come in now. Yes, Ms. Yagnik, we have heard from you. Lalita Kumar Manglam. I am repeating once again, the debate is not on Rahul's vacation or the vitriol around it. The debate is on the future of the UPA.
I agree. But the fact is that Rahul has every right to do whatever he wants, go whenever he wants, wherever he wants, right? But the point is that he's also the part of the family that has in a way, brought up the Congress or brought down the Congress to the state where everything is dependent on that one family. And as Mr. Ram pointed out, like it or not, the Congress is still the single largest opposition party in Parliament and in the country, with branches all over the states and every state. There has been a fair amount of criticism, as you know, from some of their own very senior leaders. But apparently, most congressmen don't seem to have the courage to be able to take the bull by the horns. Now, in a democracy, an opposition is very necessary. And it's, I think, I mean, even though I'm in the BJP, and for us, the longer the Congress is in this sort of disarray, it is good for us. But the fact is that a country needs an opposition. And I wish they would get their act together. Like Mr. Ram said, yeah, it's the fault of the Gandhis, but not only the Gandhis. I wonder why, when there are a fair amount of fairly competent people in the Congress, and especially, I think, in the younger generation, there are many people, they are not being given a chance. It's the same old guard that's still trying to rule the roost. And I think it's not just the Congress, it's the people who are losing faith in Congress. I think the Congress themselves, many of them are losing faith in their own organizational ability. In the BJP, we are made to slog. Everybody, top to bottom, we work. I mean, we really work at the grassroots at all levels.
I'm going to have to give Ms. Yagnik a right to reply.
Seem to have that sense at all.
Sure.
A party is built on blood, sweat, and tears.
Not a sense of entitlement.
And where is it being shown?
Okay.
Yes,
The same old point. The BJP has made this point in the past also. Hard work versus sense of entitlement. Ms. Yagnik, you will get your right to reply. You will get your right to reply to this. But Mr. Mahesh, from the NCP, I want to bring you in. As a key constituent of the UPA, where do you see yourself and what role do you see Mr. Sharad Pawar playing? A lot has been said about him taking charge.
Hello, Mr. Sanketan. Thank you for having me on your show. First of all, let me tell you that the UPA is absolutely intact. The UPA leadership has taken care that everybody, all the constituents of the UPA are being respected within the UPA. And whatever rumors are being floating, I don't know who has put these things, and we presume that it has been planted by some vested interest to create some kind of a rift within the UPA. But let me assure you that the relations between the Congress party and the NCP...
Okay, let's put that aside. Now about the future of the UPA. In 2021 or 2024, what is the calculation of the NCP? Do you see Congress remaining at the center of the UPA, or do you think that other key constituents must join and take over?
I see that in 2024, the UPA might actually form the government, because this NDA government might fall because of the weight of the BJP. So you cannot predict. I mean, see what happened way back in 2004, and suddenly the UPA was in power for the next 10 years, and again 2014 we are out of power. So you can never say for
that
sure
UPA, by the way, that Congress had a strong leader in Sonia Gandhi at the helm for a very long time.
See, Congress, we are a follower of the Congress. So I will not say that NCP ideologically is separate from the Congress. So Congress has a ever churning process of generating leadership. We have seen people who are sarpanchs and they have rose to take the position of chief ministers of states and also union ministers. So, say leadership is a continuous process, and within all the constituents, all political parties, whether it's the BJP or the Shiv Sena or the NCP or the Congress, leadership keeps on developing over decades.
That's exactly my point. Is the leadership developing?
I do not see a dearth of leadership within the UPA constituents, but I'm sure that every leadership has a cycle. So does Mr. Modi has a cycle. So does my leader, and so definitely other leaders. But that doesn't mean that new leaders are not groomed.
Okay. I'm going to very quickly give Ms. Yagnik her right to reply. Ms. Yagnik.
Let me speak for my party.
Sure.
My party ensuring that newer generation of leaders are groomed at the tehsil level to the state level, and I'm sure that we'll, in the next 2024 elections for the Lok Sabha, we'll have a newer set of leaders, younger set of leaders, more vibrant set of leaders, and we are confident that the electorate of the country will overthrow the NDA government.
Okay. Ms. Yagnik, you're right to reply to what Ms. Kumara Mangalam had to say. And the assessment of Mr. N. Ram.
No, it is really heartening to know that only one party slogs and sweats, and that's the BJP. as if other
Sorry
parties,
to interrupt.
workers
I can't hear her
and
at all.
people just
Sorry.
don't work hard. But maybe she's referring to the times of Atal Bihari Vajpayee and Advani ji, because she knows the present model of the BJP working. So let's not get into that. Everyone knows about it. And as you know that there's a cycle and leaders come and go, but you have not fulfilled your promise to the nation. See, the nation is a very different kind of an entity. We have so many rising issues, and the question which you're asking to the UPA should right now be, we should be asking to the NDA, because the allies are just going away. They are with the farmers. They're breaking away from the present NDA alliance and the NDA entity. So this is a question you should be asking to the NDA and not asking to the UPA. The UPA is as strong as ever. It is trying to bring the issues to the forefront. It is trying to show the mirror to the present dispensation that look what you promised and what you're giving to the people of our country. These are the people who voted
No,
you
Ms.
to power.
Yagnik, I have a
mandate.
question. I have a question. When you say that the UPA is strong as ever, what are the quantifiables? When you say that it is strong as ever?
It is definitely giving a fight to the present NDA alliance. It is not delivering on its promises.
Okay.
It has to become an election machine rather than a delivery machine to the people of this
Sure.
country. Especially when there is a worst economic slowdown in the
Okay.
country in the past decade. The future is absolutely uncertain for the children of the next generation.
Well,
youth are looking for jobs. You are not looking at all these
Sure.
disappearing
I'm-
factors.
I've run out of time,
country.
but we can just say for 2021, good luck to you, Ms. Yagnik, as well as Ms. Kumara Mangalam. Thank you very much for joining us.